So what's the political impact of Brett Kavanaugh's hearings, and how will his confirmation or rejection affect the midterms? Let's talk about that and the president's new trade deal with Canada and Mexico with our political panel. Christopher Shays, the former U.S. Representative from Connecticut. He served as senior member of the Finance and Homeland Security Committees, Vice Chairman of the Budget and Government Oversight Committees, and Chairman of the Government's Oversight National Security Committee, with jurisdiction over both the Departments of Defense and State. He joins us from Capitol Hill. And in Seattle is Chris Lu, former White House Cabinet Secretary and former Deputy Secretary of Labor during the Obama administration. He's now a senior fellow at the University of Virginia Miller Center. And he is, as I said, in Seattle. All right, Christopher, there are contradictory reports about the scope of the inquiry of Brett Kavanaugh. Trump said it's up to the Senate. Should it be longer than a week?
Oh, my word. I don't think it should be longer than a week. Shame on Feinstein for waiting almost 2 months to encourage Ford to come forward. You know, I am so turned off by both parties and how they've handled this. And I find this whole process embarrassing and, frankly, almost disgusting.
Chris Lu, what are your thoughts? Should it be more than a week? What can happen?
Well, I don't think it should be artificially time limited. And I think what's concerning to me is some of the initial news reports that certain witnesses will not be investigated. We should let the FBI do their job. These are seasoned professionals who do this for a day-to-day. And, you know, they should take the evidence where it leads them. Whether it should be 1 week, 2 weeks, I don't know what the answer to that is. It should not be indefinite to say that, though.
Okay. Do you think the outcome of the inquiry is going to change any minds in the Senate, or is that still open, Chris?
I think I think it depends on what the evidence finds. I think it's probably more likely than not that the FBI investigation will be inconclusive and will be exactly where we were last week. But again, you know, these are rapidly changing events. There are witnesses who have stories that need to be told, and they'll tell them to the investigators. So we'll see what happens. But if I were making a prediction, I think it probably won't change any minds on either side.
Chris Shays, what about his deportment, Kavanaugh's deportment last week, his judicial temperament? Do you have a question over that?
A little bit. I mean, with all due respect, this is dividing the country. My wife and I have agreed we can't really have an in-depth conversation about it. I just want to say I've met so many women that are outraged, and I've met so many men that are outraged, and they come on different ends on the equation. I'm trying to remember what happened in high school. You know, but I'll be very candid in saying to you, I don't think Kavanaugh has told the truth. If I had been advising him, I would have said, listen, you were in high school, you did some dumb things, you probably had interaction with Ford and Christine Ford, but your recollection is probably different than hers. I would have been more comfortable him saying, you know, please judge me on who I am, not what I was in high school, and I don't think I did anything terrible in high school. And then the debate would be on that. Now my concern is he's been so emphatic that he doesn't know her, that it never happened, and so on. And so time will tell if he had contact. If he had contact with her and it's proven, then he's finished.
Chris Lu, if it turns out that they can't show anything about contact with her, but they can show that he lied about things in high school, things in the yearbook, lied about drinking. If he lied, would that automatically toss his name out?
Well, I think it depends on what he has lied about, but I agree completely with what the congressman just said, because Kavanaugh has issued such blanket denials on everything, even the smallest of things. And I think if he is found to have been misleading on small things, whether it's entries in his high school yearbook or whether it's drinking habits, again, none of these otherwise should be disqualifying. But because if he raises doubts about those issues, or if doubts are raised about those issues, it does call into question his overall credibility. And I think to your question about deportment, I look, if somebody was wrongly accused, I can understand his outrage. But I think the statements he made in his opening about this being a conspiracy by the Clintons does call into question whether he has the right temperament to sit on the Supreme Court and deal with cases fairly. But again, we have a long way to go before this is resolved.